US has said that no recognition for Somaliland after the deal signed between Ethiopia and Somaliland. But did you know that the United States, in fact, has recognized Somaliland before 6 decades, before 60 years? Hello, I am Mahlet Ayele, your host at Connect Africa, bringing you the latest from the continent. As we all know, the issue of is signing an agreement or a memorandum of understanding between Ethiopia and Somaliland has become a hot topic, not only in the region, not only in the continent, but globally. But why is this so? Today, I'm not going to analyze all the reasons, even if I can, because my focus is only how the United States is playing this issue a double standard, and I will bring you an evidence for that. As I always do, let me go ahead and share my slides. Okay, so as we all know, the tensions are growing between Ethiopia and Somalia. Over Somaliland port deal, which is tensions are mounting in the Horn of Africa as Ethiopia looks to secure a deal that would grant Ethiopia 12 miles of sea access and an alternative port for its import and export, and also for its security. And moreover, which will enable Ethiopia to construct a naval base. So that is the issue. Now, Somaliland, I mean, you all know by now it's a state, it's an independent state, but not recognized by the world. Okay. Now, Ethiopia for signing this deal to her, because Ethiopia is the most populous landlocked country, and it's looking for an alternative port or to have an access to the sea. It cannot continue paying a rent. So in exchange, it wants to give something, a successful project or company, national company of the country, a share of it, and then in return to get an access to the sea, so that it will save the billions of dollars it's paying currently to Port of Djibouti, in which 95% of the import and export of the country depends on. It has become very burdensome on the country, that has a shortage of foreign currency, and there are a lot of economical and political problems. So this is the main reason for the country to look for an alternative. And Somaliland was not the only option. In fact, after assessing so many options and trying so many agreements, that it has finally reached for its own benefit and whatever preferable conditions Somaliland give, in which I've discussed before. So it has landed to sign a deal. So in exchange, not only Ethiopia gives a share of its successful national company, whether it's Ethiopian Telecom or Ethiopian Airlines, but also it will give first and foremost a recognition to Somaliland that will make Ethiopia the first country of UN member to recognize Somaliland. Now let's go. So Somaliland, it's a breakaway, it's an independent country. Just let me give you a background. I really like historical background. First of all, look, Somalia was the whole Somalia was divided. It's a problem of the remnants of colonialism by three European countries. Okay, the Greater Somalia was occupied or colonized by by the Italian colonizers. Okay, by Italy, and then Somaliland was colonized by the UK, by the British. And then the British Somaliland, it used to be known as, and then Djibouti, which used to be part of Somalia, was also the French Somaliland. So there was the French, there was the British, there was the Italy colonizers. Okay, now when they give independence for each of these states, now Somaliland got its independence from British in exactly on 26th of June 1960. Okay, then after 4 days, on 1st of July, Italy gave what we know now as Somalia. Italy gave independence to Somalia. Then immediately they called for a union, and then after 4 days, staying as independent state, meaning Somaliland, then united with the greater Somalia. So it became then only from July 1st, 1960 up to 1991, where the crisis of Somalia stayed as a unified Somalia. But after 1991, Somaliland again break away from Somalia, and it has declared itself as an independent state. So this will really help you for the background. Okay, now so Somaliland is for the past 30 years, in fact, to be exact, 33 years, has been an independent state, but not recognized by the world, let's say. Okay, no country recognized Somaliland except Taiwan. Taiwan by itself is not a country, so that doesn't count. Now, I'm not here to advocate for Somaliland to be independent or not, or whatever. I'm just giving you a background so people can take their own conclusion. My purpose here is to give it a Pan-Africanist perspective and to shed light the hands of the colonizer, how they are playing in the region and in the continent in divide and rule, and so that you take your own conclusion. I came here also, I defended Ethiopia's case, why Ethiopia landed, because many think that Ethiopia reached this deal to be against Somalia. No, but Ethiopia has assessed its options. I will pin it, or I will put it at the end, of this discussion, that video, and you can go ahead and see it. Now, let me go to the main purpose of today's focus, how the United States is playing a double standard on the recognition of Somalia. Look, this statement is actually written on June 27, 1960, one day after Somaliland got its independence from the British. Okay, look, it reads as this. The head is Department of State for the Press. Okay, there follows the text of Secretary Herter's message to the Council of Ministers of Somaliland on the occasion of the independence of that nation on June 26, 1960. I told you one day after. Now, here is what it written. Their Excellencies, Council of Ministers of Somaliland, Hargeisa, it says, because Hargeisa is the capital of Somaliland. Your Excellencies, it starts, I extend my best wishes and congratulations on the achievement of your independence. This is a noteworthy milestone in your history, and it is with pleasure that I send my warmest regards on this happy occasion. Christian A. Harter, Secretary of State, United States of America. Just stay on that. Okay, now let's go to the next. Now, after 33 years, from 1960, after 33 years, look, after 60 years, okay, pardon me, after 60 years, after 6 decades, this is now right after an MOU signed between Ethiopia and Somaliland. US comes now and says no recognition for breakaway Somaliland after Ethiopia deal. That's a very important word. After Ethiopia deal. What about before Ethiopia deal? I'm going to come back on that one. Okay. So here is what now the US is saying right after the deal between Ethiopia and Somaliland. This is a paradox of the United States. This is how their politics work in the Horn of Africa. It's all for their own interest. Now, the matter between Ethiopia, Somaliland, and then Somalia itself, let's leave it for themselves, and let's leave it to the region or the Eastern African community, or to the continent they belong to, which is Africa. Okay, now whenever any other country comes, whether it's Europe or US comes, it's all about their interest, even when it is Russia or China or Turkey, whatever, or the Middle East. It's all about their interest. It's not really to the interest of Ethiopia, not Somaliland, not Somalia, where Somalia is accusing or making so much noise of Ethiopia for signing that deal. In fact, Look, the United States recognizes the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Federal Republic of Somalia within its 1960 borders, the State Department's now, in 1960, actually, look again, another controversy. The US itself has recognized Somaliland, okay? Look, so I mean, this is why I say let's leave it to these countries. Somalia and Somaliland are actually in talks. They are, they have a dialogue between, and they have some agreements. And, just few days, actually 1 day or 2 days before Ethiopia, it was on the 1st of January, Ethiopia and Somaliland signed that MOU. 2 days before that, on 29 December, as you can see here, it's a screenshot. On 29 December, they have agreed, both countries, to resume talks, not to provoke each other. So this was done under the mediation of Djibouti. Now, let me just bring you other contexts. Whenever other countries come in and say something, it's all about their interest. In fact, now when this happened, Somalia, the first thing that they turned to, okay, they said they have condemned Ethiopia's, reaching agreement with Somaliland for a sea access. And then they turned to immediately to the United Nations, to the European Union, to the United States itself, to the Arab League, everywhere except not to the African Union, in which the continent they belong to, not to the Eastern African community, in which Somalia became a member recently. Okay, so they turn to everywhere except now. That's my point. My point is to bring that Pan-African perspective. Let's solve it regionally if we can. If not, then on the level of the African Union. So let's not bring others to meddle into this and give opportunity to bring more confusion, more conflicts in the region. Okay. Now, another thing is what you have to know, another controversial issue about this is Somaliland has diplomatic relationship with 35 countries. Now, this includes countries from Africa, countries from Middle East, US itself, the UK itself, the Western giants, and countries from the European Union, and, different countries. So they have diplomatic relationship, although these countries did not give them a recognition, but they have diplomatic relationship, including Ethiopia. Okay, and they have representatives in different countries as well, where they have diplomatic relationship, and those countries have also diplomatic representatives in Somaliland. Now, the Arab League and the United States have condemned Ethiopia, the Ethiopia and Somaliland Red Sea deal. The European Union also have, condemned the deal as well. Now, what we see is the double standard of the United States. But I'm going to bring you what, this article from the Heritage has shared, why the US should recognize Somaliland, and an excerpt from what the current president of Somaliland said. Let me just go ahead and share that, okay? Look. Now, this says, this is a Heritage, okay? Have you heard of Somaliland? It has been de facto independent for 30 years, and they have taken great strides to pursue democracy, free speech, and free market ideas. Because of this, the US should recognize Somaliland as an independent country. In practice, the territory is not now, nor is likely to be a part of Somalia. Acknowledging that reality would allow Washington to create more effective policy in an important and contested region. In addition, a strong relationship with an independent Somaliland could potentially benefit the US as we try to hedge against Chinese influence in the region. On this episode, Heritage Foundation expert Josh Miserve joined us to explain. Now, I'm not going to read the whole interview thing, but I'm going to just go ahead and share what the president of Somaliland, Muse Bihi Abdi, said. Look, We share the same values, but you didn't know that. Meaning he's telling to this US journalist, we know the history of United States of America. We know there are political pacts. We know they are Democrats, but the American people does not know about Somaliland. So we are going to explain what is Somaliland, a country at the Horn of Africa, have 140 kilometers of the real sea coast, no pirates, no terrorists in our no terrorists in our country, free elections, free media, free market, booming and vibrant free market. Now, what the president of Somaliland trying to highlight is that they share the same value with the United States. Okay, but what I'm interested is the paradox of the US, where they recognized in 1961, day after their independence from the British, and they sent that by their Secretary of State congratulating Somaliland, and then one day after, I mean after 60 years again, because Ethiopia signed that deal with Somaliland, they come and say no recognition for Somaliland. So it's all about their interest. It's not about the people of Somalia. It's not about the people of Somaliland. It's not about the people of Ethiopia or the government or the politics. It's all about the United States. Okay, that's to change the view whenever they want. So let's not really get confused on this one. So thank you very much again for tuning in. Let us know in the comment section, what do you think of this paradox or controversies about US recognition and not recognizing Somaliland at different times? Please share your view. If you like what we bring you here, go ahead and give it thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel, be a family. Let's empower each other with information and knowledge. So go ahead and share the video with your network. If you want to help us further, you can go ahead, you can go to the description section or in the pinned comment to our PayPal account and you can donate to us. Thanks again for being here, and I value each and everyone's suggestions and input and comments. It's a bye bye for me now, and I'll see you on